So today we're going to dive into a really powerful way of looking at our modern meaning crisis. We're going to get into the deep biological roots of it all and explore a mythic but also super practical path to a solution, all coming from the source material that inspired this explainer.
I mean, that quote, it just hits home, doesn't it? It gets right to the heart of a feeling I think so many of us have, this constant, buzzing dissatisfaction. You know, that sense of always needing the next thing, the next refresh, the next dopamine hit.
You know that feeling, mindlessly scrolling through endless feeds, feeling like you're being pulled in a dozen different directions at once, and just never feeling truly settled? It's pretty much a defining feature of our digital lives. But according to our source, this isn't just a random feeling. Oh no, it's a symptom of a much, much deeper problem. And it turns out that problem actually has a name. The source material calls it the hungry ghost. Now that's a powerful metaphor for sure, but it's being used here with, clinical precision to describe a state of being that's become an epidemic.
And here's the thing that's so important to get. This isn't just some vague philosophical idea. The hungry ghost is defined as a nervous system that has literally lost its natural rhythm. It's what happens when we become these scrolling, consuming, status-seeking entities, constantly feeding on digital junk food but never, ever feeling truly nourished. Okay, so if the hungry ghost is the symptom, then what's the actual cause? Well, the source points to something really fundamental inside of us that has been broken, something it calls our inner sun.
Our inner sun, get this, it's our body's master clock, our circadian rhythm. And this is the mind-blowing part. This biological system isn't just there to help you sleep. It is the very foundation, the biological ground for our ability to experience meaning, awe, and even have a coherent story about our own lives.
And this slide just lays out the conflict perfectly. On one side, you've got the inner sun. It's all about natural rhythms, a connection to deep time, feeling like your life makes sense. But on the other side, you have the dopamine siege of modern life. You know, endless variable reward loops, constant distraction from screens, artificial light. It all leads to this complete neurochemical fragmentation. We've basically traded our natural alignment for a state of addiction.
Wow. I mean, that quote just really drives home the sheer scale of what's been lost here. This isn't just about getting a bad night's sleep. The argument here is that by messing up this fundamental biological clock, we've actually cut ourselves off from a connection that once gave us a real sense of our place in the universe.
All right, now things get really interesting and very, very current. Let's talk about the role of artificial intelligence in this whole crisis. And the take here is fascinating and probably not what you're expecting.
The source material makes this crucial point. AI is not the enemy. It's not the villain of the story. Instead, think of it as the ultimate diagnostic tool, a perfect mirror. It doesn't have an agenda. It just reflects back the state of the person using it. So what happens when a dysregulated, fragmented nervous system asks it a question? Well, it gets a fragmented, dysregulated answer right back.
And that leads to this. Well, it's a really potent warning. The idea is, before you go plugging into these incredibly powerful new technologies, you have to do the internal work first. You know, trying to get meaning or coherence from an external AI when your own internal hearth is cold and dark, that's only going to make the fragmentation worse.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem, we've looked at the cause. It's a lot, I know. But here's the good news. This isn't just a story of doom and gloom. The source offers a clear, actionable prescription to actually fight back.
And the solution is framed as battlefield rituals. And I love that because the mindset is everything. This is not some passive wellness trend. These are active, warrior-like disciplines. We're talking about simple, daily actions like when you see morning light or when you eat your meals, and transforming them into powerful practices designed specifically to repair that master clock. And it's all laid out in this really clear 30-day program. First, for 10 days, you work to reclaim the inner sun, mostly with strict light protocols. Then for the next 10 days, you actively starve the hungry ghosts by cutting off their main sources of cheap dopamine. And finally, you enter this phase called weaving the eternal spiral, where you start to build a new, coherent story for your life.
This right here is the core logic. Every single ritual, every practice has a direct purpose. It's not about what you believe, it's about what you do. You are basically administering direct medicine to your own nervous system with one of three goals in mind: restore the clock, starve the addiction, or remember the larger pattern you belong to. So let's just boil this all down to the absolute key insights.
First, our sense of meaning is literally grounded in our biology, our circadian rhythm. Second, that hungry ghost feeling is fueled by the weaponized anticipation of dopamine, not pleasure itself. Third, the whole goal here is to repair our internal clock so that our own inner storyteller can come back online. And finally, and maybe most importantly, these rituals work on a biological level, whether you believe in them or not.
All right, as we wrap up, there's one last really critical warning from the source that we need to talk about.
So, let's be super clear about what the real prize is here. Yeah, you'll probably sleep better, you'll have more energy, but that's not the point. The real goal is so much bigger. It's about reclaiming the very ability to see your life as a coherent story, to become the storyteller of your own existence again.
But, and this is a big but, this path is not easy. This quote says it all. It's a stark reminder that this isn't some cozy, comfortable self-help trend. This is a discipline. It's fire. It's meant to forge you, not to coddle you. This is a serious path for people who are serious about making a change.
And that's where we're going to leave it, with a challenge. We've laid out the diagnosis, the cause, and the potential cure. The fire of this ancient, powerful knowledge has been lit. So the only question left is for you. Will you step closer?